Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Austin Crime Report. Here today is Christopher Giusola.
Correct. Yes, with the APA.
With the APA.
Where's Michael Bullock?
Michael Bullock is out today, so you get me sitting in. I'm Tyler Latham, the VP for the Austin Police Association, and behind our controls, as always, is the fabulous Christopher Irwin. So we've got a few hot topics here to talk about, a little bit more about failures at the district attorney or county attorney's office that lead to missed opportunities to prosecute, opportunities that lead to people getting out and then doing more terrible things. That first person that we want to talk about is Benjamin Song, who currently is wanted with a $10,000 reward out of DPS. He's at large. He attempted to kill some federal officers, discharged a firearm at them down in Alvarado, Texas. Juice, why don't you give us a little background about what Benjamin has and his ties to Austin?
And so I think that manhunt's been going on for 10 days, but prior to that, and the reason why we bring him up is because he's been here in Austin before. And when he was here, this was in the riots during 2020. In August, he was arrested for pointing a rifle at some of our APD officers. They were trying to do crowd management for one of these protests, and they came across Mr. Song, and he pointed his weapon at them, was arrested for aggravated assault against a police officer. And so, the case kind of was pending for a while. We will go over to October of 2021. And finally, the district attorney took it to a grand jury. It was reset several times. We've known that this district attorney has a problem indicting things in a decent amount of time. And so finally, this one came back as the grand jury was no billed. But a lot of our officers had contacted us and expressed concern. They're like, hey, that's the same guy that we arrested back in 2020, and now he's shooting at federal officers. Could be the same gun. I'm assuming his weapons were returned to him, but all of these officers contacting us with concerns about this were told that they were never contacted to go and be a part of explaining to a grand jury what happened. And, if a jury doesn't have the right information, they probably are not going to arrive at the correct decision. So that's the concern that I have with Mr. Song.
And it gets to that point where we run into these issues with the district attorney that the grand jury happens. No one from the police department is invited to these many times, where they don't ask the investigator to come to present anything. It's just the prosecutor that's presenting. So we don't really know what's presented. So they may leave out crucial things. There's no law that says they have to present everything. It's part of the problem with the grand jury, but it can be used in these cases to not get indictments if they don't want to prosecute it. And because it's something that happened to a cop, who cares? And they just look at it, we'll just let this go away and it'll move on. It never gets any attention because it just gets no indictment, moves on, nobody brings it up. But we're going to bring it up because this is the type of stuff that then now, that happened in 2021. Let's say if they would have gotten an indictment, would have possibly charged him and convicted him, he could have been sitting in jail or waiting trial or in prison on a sentence instead of out in another part of Texas terrorizing law enforcement and terrorizing communities. And it just shows that the district attorney continues for a long time now to fail to do their job and fail to hold people accountable for the actions that they take.
Sure. And, we keep talking about how our department's working with the district attorney to make things better. But again, we're supposed to be on the same side trying to make sure justice is done. And in my experience, we're not getting to that level where we're working together as one team to bring people to justice and make sure that the community's safe.
Yeah. And we're sitting here, we were looking at some stats for this year, kind of seeing where we're at compared to last year. Last year, at this point of the year, we were sitting at about 33 homicides. Right now, we're at 32. Right. So right on track for the same amount of homicides instead of seeing a reduction, which is what we want. We want less people getting killed in Austin. And our hands are tied in some ways because we're not holding violent criminals accountable in the city of Austin. And too many are getting arrested. Detectives doing outstanding work, officers doing outstanding work, stepping up, finding these guys, building good cases, getting them arrested, and then the ball gets dropped by the district attorneys, the ball gets dropped by judges who are resetting bonds at ridiculously low amounts that let these violent offenders back out. We're not talking about the dude that got stopped because he's got a little bit of weed or a small amount of drugs. We're talking about violent criminals that are affecting the lives of every citizen in Austin and victimizing people in robberies and shootings and stabbings and all of this.
Sure.
And it makes us think of a past case over at UT with Mr. White.
Right.
And what do you know about that one?
So I was just listening to the radio this morning, and I heard Joel McNew with SafeHorns talking about a person of interest that they're watching. And this, again, you mentioned it was Kendricks White. He ended up killing a college student named Harrison Brown back in 2017. And what we do know right now is that there is a hearing going on to determine what's going to happen to Mr. White. And so what we don't want to happen, that we've seen happen in the past, is that people that have been determined to be mentally incompetent to stand trial are just released back out into the community and potentially do more harm. You know, this isn't us trying to, bang the drum and make a bunch of noise. There's news reports on several examples of people that have been arrested and let go for whatever reason, to include mental incompetency, and they just go back out and do more crime. So what Joel was asking on the radio this morning is, we have it posted here at safehorns.org. They're trying to get together a letter to send over to the DA's office by concerned community members, trying to get signatures to say, hey, we need some attention drawn to this. We don't want this to be another case where we should have done something to prevent something from happening in the future. And so, we've talked about Mr. Amin Labidi also in the past. He was recently arrested on UT. He has mental issues as well. County attorney dropped several cases with him, going around UT, destroying property, harassing young ladies. And so we don't want it to get to that level. So if you're listening to this, if you want to take some time, go to safehorns.org. If you could sign that letter, I know SafeHorns would greatly appreciate it. We are coming into a period where students are returning to campus. Everybody's going to be start moving in the next couple of weeks, start looking for jobs, start getting to their classes. And we do want to make sure UT is a safe space for its students, as well as the rest of the city of Austin.
Yeah, we have a huge influx of thousands of people, of students that are going to be coming into Austin. Many of them are freshmen, first time coming here from all over the state, all over the country. We want this to be a safe place for them to be. The police department over at the University of Texas doing a great job trying to get ready for that, prepping to make sure that their campus is safe. They're assisted by APD and all of the student housing around campus. That's not exactly on the 40 acres. And the department is working to try to make sure it's safe. But we need the community's help to point these things out, the community to back up their law enforcement and put pressure on the district attorney and county attorney to do the right thing, to hold people accountable for whatever crimes that they've been alleged to have commit, and actually follow through with all of those. And it brings us to our Capital Area Crime Stoppers area of the week, another place where you might be able to do some good. Today's wanted subject for this week is Luis Bruno Fernandez. He's wanted for aggravated robbery. The photo that's up there is from a couple years ago. He's 50 years old, 5'7", 180 pounds. Again, he has an outstanding robbery for aggravated robbery. So another person not to approach, like we tell you every time, but just remember that if you have any information that leads to his arrest and prosecution, that you can claim some of that Crime Stopper money.
Sure.
So
I think the reward on that one's $1,000.
Yeah.
Phone number 512-472-TIPS 8477. Again, that's 512-472-8477. If you know where he is, give that number a call, get your reward money, and then hopefully our citizens are safer, not getting robbed.
Let's get him off the street. And we want to always point out our Officer of the Week. And this actually is two officers, Officer Swindell and Officer Gutierrez. And what a great example these two are of the dedication of the men and women of the Austin Police Department. They were dispatched to someone that was attempting suicide, and they were on the 12th Street Bridge near I-35. And there was a DPS trooper already on scene when they got there. But they get there and they're talking with the person, trying to figure out how best to help him. But this person wants to jump off the bridge. These two officers quickly come up with a plan, and they actually go and tackle the subject before he can jump off the bridge. They put themselves in danger of being. It can happen where you get pulled over the bridge with somebody when they're wanting to jump. So these guys stepped in quickly. And I love this last part on the note that the department puts out. But thanks to their bravery and professionalism, the individual was safely brought back to solid ground and was able to get the mental health help that he needed. And that's what Austin police officers are doing every day. They're there to help. We make arrests, which is great, and we do a lot of that, which protects victims. But we also care about people, and so it's not all about every arrest, but it's about getting the person to whatever resource they need and the help they need. In this case, is mental health help, and so that's what they did. They stepped in to help that person get to where they needed to be safe.
We're community caretakers, and it encompasses just more than enforcing the law. So people call us for pretty much anything, and we respond to it. I know with our staffing shortage, haven't been able to get to everything like we used to, but there is a lot more that goes unrecognized, and this is just one of those examples.
Well, guys, that's what we have for this week of the Austin Crime Report. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a help in our community of tracking down these people, calling in tips when you got them. So until next week, stay safe, stay alert, and stay tuned.